Have you ever looked at a woman and just felt something was different? Her tone, her energy, the way she carries herself around you, it's subtle, but undeniable. She's still the same woman, but in some way, she isn't. That shift doesn't come from nowhere. Often, it happens when she's been intimate with someone new. She may not announce it, and she may not even realize it herself, but intimacy leaves traces. And if you're paying attention, you'll notice. It shows in the way she guards her phone more than usual. In the sudden glow she carries without knowing it. In the little fragments of another man's world she brings back with her. Most men overlook these signs. They don't want to see what's right in front of them. They make excuses, brush off the feeling, or convince themselves it's nothing. But if you can read the subtle cues, you'll see what she thought she buried. One of the first signs is that she starts acting like she's hiding something, even if she isn't consciously doing so. Intimacy for most women isn't just physical. It has emotional and psychological weight. And that weight leaks out in behavior. She might suddenly become overly polite, her tone just a little too sweet. Her eye contact shifts, not shy, but guarded. Or she might overcompensate in the opposite direction. Suddenly more talkative, more available, like she's distracting you from noticing what's really different. This isn't about catching someone in a lie. It's about recognizing that intimacy often triggers an internal recalibration. Guilt, secrecy, or simply the emotional processing of a deep experience can make her act off. If you know her baseline, her natural rhythm, you'll notice the smallest changes. Maybe she touches her phone more often, keeps her answers shorter, avoids standing still near you, as if staying still would allow you to read her. The giveaways aren't in her words, they're in the micro-behaviors, the half-smile that doesn't reach her eyes, the pauses between sentences, the little avoidances she hopes you won't pick up on. And then there's the way she interacts with you. When a woman has recently been with someone, especially if it's exciting, new, or emotionally charged, her dynamic with you will shift. Sometimes it's subtle. Sometimes it's obvious. She may become distant, colder texts, slower replies, less playful energy, as if her attention is elsewhere. Other times, she goes the opposite way, overly nice, strangely affectionate, extra chatty. Both are tells.
Why?
Because intimacy changes her emotional state, and that change always bleeds into her behavior. If the encounter made her feel desired, you'll sense a glow in her confidence, a quiet arrogance, a lighter energy in her step. She may tease more, perform happiness, carry herself differently. If she feels guilty, she'll retreat, avoiding vulnerability, keeping things safe, staying polite but distant. She might even pick fights, not out of anger at you, but because she's processing her own conflict inside. These shifts are never random. They're the psychological residue of intimacy, reshaping her emotional focus. Another quiet sign: changes in her appearance. Intimacy often awakens a woman's femininity in ways she expresses through grooming, clothing, or scent. Maybe she suddenly dresses up more, experiments with makeup, wears a new fragrance, or changes her hair. Or, the opposite, she simplifies her look, because she feels validated and doesn't feel the need to perform. The key is comparison. If you know her usual baseline, even small changes stand out. A hoodie that isn't hers. Jewelry she didn't buy. Nails freshly done when last week she didn't care. These aren't coincidences, they're reflections of her internal shift. It can also leak into her speech, her habits, even her routines. She might mention a new place, a band she never cared for before, or a phrase she didn't use in the past. Suddenly she's into a hobby she'd never mentioned, or her texting style shifts slightly. These imprints aren't random personality updates, they're borrowed pieces of someone else's world. Women often don't realize they're doing it. Intimacy creates familiarity, and familiarity always finds a way out. And of course, one of the most obvious signs: her relationship with her phone changes. A woman who was once relaxed about leaving it lying around now keeps it close, face down, or carries it into the next room for even small things. It's subtle, but telling. When her patterns shift, it's because something beneath the surface has shifted too. Here's the truth: she doesn't need to tell you what happened. She doesn't need to admit a thing. Her behavior speaks for her. Humans can't truly hide, they leak. And after intimacy, especially with someone new, a woman almost always leaks the evidence in her tone, her energy, her choices, and her subtle shifts. If you stop listening only to her words and start observing her patterns, you'll see it. Every woman leaves footprints. The only question is whether you'll notice them.